Respectfully, I don't like that. Let me explain.
That's okay.
Let me explain.
Just like you said to Sunday.
Let me explain.
He sure did say that to me.
Let me
We're
explain.
going to come back. We have to take a break.
Stephen A. Smith shut The View down once again with facts. And you know how much the Harpies hate facts. I'm sure after this, he'll never be invited back on The View again. Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's talk about this, because Trump is claiming that he aced the cognitive test. Even though he's going on late night Truth Social tirades, in the middle of the night, he's texting and calling Governor Walz a name that we don't use anymore to disability.
So Joy is upset because Trump called Walz a name? It's funny how offended she is by Trump's name calling. She didn't seem to have any problem when Walz was the one calling names. Do you remember this?
These guys are just weird. That's who they are. So it isn't much else. Don't give them the power. Don't lift these guys up like they're sometimes the heroes. Everybody in this room knows, I know it as a teacher, a bully has no self-confidence. A bully has no strength. They have nothing. I got to tell you, pointing out just an observation of mine that I made. I just have to say it. You know it, you feel it. These guys are creepy, and yes, just weird as hell. That's what you see. That's what you see.
Governor, before we let you go, we're going to take a little pivot. We have a quick pop quiz for you. It's a speed round, so I'm going to ask you some questions, and we'd like you to briefly fill in the blank with your answers, okay? My best pitch to voters is?
Choose a future where you're the center of it, not Donald Trump.
Right.
The future matters.
My advice to J.D. Vance is?
Just go in and order the chocolate donut and don't add anything else.
My first thought about Arnold Palmer is?
I'm passing on that one.
Good move. One nice thing about Donald Trump is?
He will not be president again.
Well, folks, Mama's wrong again.
The last weird thing I saw was?
The last weird thing I saw, a tofu.
Did you catch that weird question? Yeah, pun was definitely intended.
He's attacking female reporters as piggy and ugly. He's falling asleep in the middle of a meeting. I mean, I said yesterday that Marco Rubio is boring, but not that boring that he would fall asleep. So what do you think's going on with him?
Trump is being Trump.
Really? There's nothing cognitively wrong there?
I'm sorry, but I have to stop it here. Now, before we get into Stephen A's smackdown on Joy Behar, I just have to say I am completely lost for words. I can't believe this woman had the audacity to question Trump's cognitive ability when she had the nerve to say this just last year. After you hear her comments, I'm also going to share what she felt was fine and dandy.
We're helping you. I heard you. You know, one of the things that keeps sticking to him, which irritates me, is that about his age. His age. That really drives me nuts, because I'm the same age as your husband. That's right. Yeah. Yes! I'm reluctant to tell that, but because I want people to know, this is what 81 is, okay? But I know, I have met him a couple of times. He seems right on top of it. I said to him last time he was here, do you work out? He said yes. Yes. Every day?
Yes, every day.
What do we have to do to tell people that the man is competent, alert, and doing the job?
Let's go lick the world. We cheer for Muslim athletes like Kareem and Joan Shingang. I'm going to pronounce right. Shanga Kawawa. Ban on transgender Americans. I met alone with him, just he and I, and a simultaneous interpreter 68 times, 68 hours. 68 times, more than 68 hours. All right, God save the Queen, man.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We really appreciate it, and we love you. Thank you.
I might add, if I didn't, I'd be sleeping alone.
What do we have to do to tell people that the man is competent, alert, and doing the job? And it's not about his age. The other one is doddering and doesn't remember anything. And can't put a sentence together and has like brain farts in the middle of a paragraph, and they go after Joe.
I thought it was necessary to show you that, but let's get back to the program.
So what do you think's going on with him?
Trump is being Trump. What
Oh,
we,
really?
what-
There's nothing cognitively wrong there?
Well, I'm not saying whether there is or isn't. What I'm saying is 77 million people don't care. They voted for him. And those same 77 million people
Is it
will
still
do it
that
again.
number?
They would do it. Well, you could say that it is or isn't, but the point is he's the president of the United States. Despite the onslaught of stuff that was coming his way, he knocked off folks, and the Democrats let him because they weren't on their game. Now you have to look at, because obviously he's not going to circumvent the 22nd Amendment, which will enable him to run for a third term. So now you're talking about J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio is considered the adult in the room, the Secretary of State, National Defense, the National Security Advisor. You got J.D. Vance, he's the vice president, but he seems more Trump-ish in terms of how he conducts himself and how he's willing to go after people. So who is Trump going to support? One of the things that I talked about on my show was that I said, don't fall for it. Look at what Trump is doing. Trump is positioning himself to remain in power even if he isn't the president. He wants to make sure he maintains that level of influence. And so because of, when you see what he's done with the Honduras president, letting him out, pardoning him, even though the man is alleged to assist in funneling 400 tons of cocaine into the United States.
He was serving 45 years.
He was serving 45 years, absolutely. And you let him out in the same breath. You're bombing people in the Caribbean for the very thing that you said was a problem.
Well, let's talk about
All
the
of that
bombing.
stuff, he's doing what he's doing, but in the end, what it comes down to is that you're going to have to beat him because he is going to make sure he dictates who his successor is going to be.
So after this, they asked Stephen A. Smith if he still had no interest in running for president, even though his name seems to come up when discussing who would be a good candidate for the Democratic Party. And his response caused all hell to break loose.
I don't have any desire to be a politician. My life is really, really nice. But in the same breath, when I see what I saw prior to the election, if you're going to come to me and tell me that's our alternative, what was going on before the election, and you're saying, Stephen A., you could be on the debate stage with these politicians and you get an opportunity to call them out.
Are you referring to Kamala?
I would love it. I'm referring to all of them. Everybody, nobody's getting a pass from the Democratic Party. Well, again, she was the candidate, but we know what happened. I thought she was set up to fail by the Democratic Party personally because you bypassed the primary. You knew that Biden wasn't ready. You knew it for a year, and you did nothing. And you were really trying to sell the American people on pushing him forward as the Democratic nominee, knowing that inauguration he would have been 82 years of age. Stop it.
So what?
They knew better. That's a problem for him. Not everybody. Nancy Pelosi is sharp, but Biden didn't appear that way. Period.
He may not have appeared that way, but my stuff was a lot cleaner and better when he was in.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just going to say it. And I'm going to say one more thing because, I know that you have very strong feelings about Democrats, but I do have this to say to you. It was important, I think, for Democrats to show that they stood with the LGBT community, that they stood with black women and women in general, because once you let us go, once you let women and poor people go, what do you have? And so I've listened to lots of people say, that you didn't follow what was necessary. They did it the way they thought they could. It didn't work for them. They got it.
See, respectfully, I don't like that. Let me explain.
That's okay.
Let me explain.
Just like you said to Sonny.
Let me explain.
He sure did say that to me.
Let me
We're
explain.
going to come back. We have to take a break.
We have to take a break?
We have to take a
When
break.
you come back, you can explain.
Yeah.
Okay.
More with Stephen A. Smith.
Whoopi is mad. Did you hear how harsh she said his name? And of course they had to go to commercial because they can't stand when someone doesn't follow their narrative. And Stephen A. Smith has refused to follow their narrative in any way, shape, or form. And it's irking their nerves to the core. I love it.
We're back with Stephen A. Smith. You were about to disagree.
I was disagreeing with this. As a Democrat, the bottom line is this. When we talk about poor people, who ain't thinking about poor people? The Democratic Party, I know I do. I know that most candidates within the Democratic Party that I know they think about poor folks. I know they think about the desolate and the disenfranchised. I get that. But what I'm saying is that during the campaign, were you doing what it takes to win? You had too many people going after him for stuff that wasn't going to stick. It wasn't going to influence his voters. So what I would say to you, Whoopi, and what I would say to anybody that doesn't want J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio or somebody like that to succeed him, focus on what's going to win.
Yeah.
That's where my sports background comes in. Tell me what's going to win. I don't want to hear, but I understand the LGBTQ community is important. I understand that the desolate and disenfranchised is somebody we should always be looking out for. I understand the economy. I understand immigration. I get all of that. But the point is, I'm trying to win to make sure that I'm in office and you're not. What is it going to take? The Democrats did not do that last time.
What is the
and
winning
that's
issue?
what happens.
What is the winning issue now?
Affordability and safety.
Yes.
Period. Affordability and safety in the
Which
streets of the United
affects all
States of
those
America.
groups.
And
It does. It affects
a
all
willingness to cross the aisle and show that you're willing to work with people to get stuff done so we don't have this chaos just because we disagree.
Yep.
I think that the Democrats try harder than the Republicans to do that.
Well,
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Not when it comes to
here's
him.
what we do
Not when it
know.
comes to Trump.
We do know that you can listen to Straight Shooter with Stephen A. Smith.
Joy knows that is simply not true. But then again, neither is most of the things that come out of her mouth. I don't think The View was the least bit ready for what they got by inviting Stephen A. back on the show. What he just did to those hens is something most people who get that special invitation wouldn't dare to do. And that's challenge every single one of their talking points. I love how he absolutely refused to follow their script. And you could tell they were not happy about it. Whoopi was so mad she had to go to commercial just to calm her nerves. One thing about these harpies is that they can't stand looking in the mirror. They love talking crap about the Republican Party and never sit back to look at their own mess. But today they had no choice. Stephen A. exposed how their obsession with hating Trump more than fixing real problems is costing them elections. And it was at that point that Whoopi just lost it and cut straight to commercial. That alone should tell you everything. And Joy. She thought she had the perfect opportunity, but the minute Stephen A. shut her down and told her that voters didn't care about their emotional meltdowns, you could practically see the steam coming out of her ears. And when he said 77 million people saw everything Trump said and did, but still chose him, that they didn't care about the latest Trump scandal because none of those scandals fixed inflation, lowered the cost of groceries, or stopped the border crisis, Whoopi felt the urge to rush to the Democrats' defense, claiming that things were better and cleaner back then. Yeah, right. Give me a break. It really goes to show just how incapable they are of any criticism. Stephen A. wasn't even bringing partisan. He was just being rational. But then again, I guess this is what happens when people operate on pure emotion. When you hate someone so much, you lose the ability to think, and you lose the ability to reason. And Trump is that person they hate. The minute they hear his name, it's like everything shuts down. Just think about it. They've literally spent almost 10 years dragging Trump, calling him every name in the book. Yet nothing they've done has made life better for Americans. Nothing they've done has solved any problems that people actually care about. And it's like they're incapable of self-reflection. They can't admit their policies are failing, they won't admit their messaging is failing, and they refuse to admit their priorities are completely disconnected from what ordinary people care about. Instead of focusing on things like affordability, safety, national security, or the border, they spend all their energy screaming about Trump and protecting immigrants over Americans. I wonder why.